exam. Okay, let me get my things open. How to use Prescient? Okay, Prescient. Right, I share with you how to use Prescient material, the advice from ACCA. Where is it? I show you. It is in your classwork. It's in your classwork. Classwork. I share this article. You see, I share this article. Share this tab. Okay. I share this article. I strongly advise you to go through lah. It's not that you have to memorize everything. I'm not talking about memorizing. But when ACCA give you this information, it's good for you to read what ACCA expect you to do, right? Because if you can follow what ACCA expect you to do, most likely you are able to nail the exam. You are able to score the exam lah. So this one you can go through, but I would like to just tell you some brief information. I think they also have video. It's very good. They actually did everything already to help the student. But most of the time, why students have problem is because students usually don't go and see all this information. So strongly advise you to go through this one, right? Okay, then is there anything else about Prescient? Let me see. Prescient. I also have a few videos about how you are supposed to use CBE. Later we'll go through again, but it's good if you want to go through. Then I also have a summary of SBL. I just posted, I think, a few days ago, where I have technical articles. Now, technical articles, there are a lot, there are a lot. It's not necessary for you to go through everything. You have to remember this, right? It's not necessary for you to go through everything. You will only need to go through if you find a topic you want to know more, or if you find a topic you don't really know much, then you want to like study for additional information, then okay, can see whether you can see. Yes, so you see technical articles, right? They have a different topic lah. They don't cover everything in SBL, but usually ACCA will issue technical articles is because they think that you have something, that there's something that worth for you to know lah. So that's why you can read through lah. You can read through. Then this one is the new one. 2023 is the new one, right? It's new one. They just added, I think, within this year lah. So you can have a look. Last time when I studied ACCA, my teacher, my lecturer used to tell me, when they add new technical article, it means they're going to come out that topic. They usually say like this, but for SBL case, it's not because SBL you have no chance that you can spot any topic. You have to remember that there is no chance that you can spot topic, so you cannot spot topic. But but SBL is not that you have to memorize everything one. SBL is on solving the business problem. So you need to learn the skills of understanding what is the problem and answer to the question. That's the most important thing, right? This is to teach you, to guide you, how are you supposed to go through technical articles, if I'm not mistaken, right? So you can have a look, related summary and articles, and then yeah. So these are some of the information, materials, and also videos that I think can help you when you prepare for your SBL exam, right? So I want to show you something. This one, I will not share with you because this one is actually the material I got by attending some webinar. So I am not supposed to share to anyone. I will just display for your view only. Okay, right. This one, they talk about changes in our September 2023 because they have a new structure. I think this one I also told you already told you before. So three key changes is you have Prescient information, which will be released 2 weeks before your exam. Now, how do you get your Prescient information? When you read that guideline from ACCA, you will know already where you can get. Basically, it's from your, I'm not so sure whether they email to you, but you can get it from your practice platform one, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Then duration of the exam is reduced. Instead of 4 hours, you sit there, you need very strong seminar to sit there for 4 hours. Let me tell you. Now reduced to 3 hours and 15 minutes already. It's a good news. It's a good news, right? And then the format of the exam also changed. Later, I'll show you exactly how the changes is when I open the practice platform. So it's not, the light is not right enough, but it's okay lah. Right. So the format is now you have 3 questions. Last time they don't have 3 questions, they only have 1 question. And then you can view all the question in one so-called window. But now because you have 3 questions, you need to navigate. You need to navigate to see the question. So it means one page you can only see 1 question. If you want to see the next question, you have to next. You have to click next, right? That is the format change, right? And then uh this one nothing much. Prescient information. Prescient information later we will go through how to use prescient. Then now it's 3 hours, 15 minutes. 15 minutes is for your planning. They call it planning analysis for you to analyze the question. But I personally think 15 minutes is definitely not enough for you to go through the question. So later I will advise you what is my thought on how are you supposed to plan your time, right? So you see this time include reading, planning and writing. But then they don't restrict you. It's not that 15 minutes you can only use 15 minutes to plan. No, no, no. You can plan along the way. But if I'm not mistaken, they will only allow you to write within the 3 hours. If I'm not mistaken, the 15 minutes is really for you to read only. If I'm not mistaken, it's like this. But then if let's say they allow you to read and write at the same time for the whole 3 hours and 50 minutes, then good. Then it's good. Right. Then exam format, you have new exhibits, which is much shorter if you compare to the earlier format. New exhibit is because you have present already, so your exhibit will greatly be reduced. So it will be around 3 or 4 like this. Like the paper that we are going through today, we have 4 exhibits. Then you have 3 tasks. You answer in separate response area and so on. What does it mean by all these? Later we see practice background, we'll see already. Then what is not changing? Basically, whatever is changing is only these 3. The rest not changing, right? What is the things that is not changing? Is an integrated case study exam. It's still one case study. You don't have more than one questions. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. I can check what. Right. So you have that 80 marks technical marks and 20 marks professional skills marks is still not changing. Now, what does it mean by this? 80 technical marks means the content that you are writing, like how good your content is, to help to solve the business problem. That will give you the maximum 80 marks. So another 20 marks come from whether you can write your answer in a very professional way, your professionalism, and also how much you fulfill the professional skills, right? And then across the whole syllabus, because you cannot spot any topic. In fact, if you see SBL questions, right, sometimes it's very difficult for you to tell, this question is from which topic? This question is from which chapter? Actually, very difficult for you to tell. Because sometimes when they ask question, right, this question is actually an integration of a few chapters. So that is the method your SBL question will be asked. Right? Syllabus unchanged, right? Where I foresee actually they won't change a lot because SBL is a new paper. So when you have a syllabus massive change is when the paper is too old already. So they won't change a lot. I think in the next few years also they won't change a lot of syllabus. They will add. I think they will add something related to technology especially, but I don't think they will change the syllabus. 100% marks assessment, it means 100% on exam. There's no assignment and things like this. Application rather than demonstration of knowledge. This one you have to remember, very important. Why? Because this means, right, you don't tell your examiner whatever you memorize. You don't tell them, oh, this model is to do what and what. This model have 2 metrics. This metric and that metrics. They are not interested. They want to know how you can solve the problem. So even you don't use model metrics, as long as you can solve the problem, they are okay with it, right? So it's application. You don't show off how good you memorize things, right? You don't show off. So that's why no point for you to memorize. That's why I always tell students, don't memorize. No point, man. You memorize, you have nothing to do. Okay? Then you have students adopt and assume role, and you will be told during exam. You'll be told during exam what role you have. You are consultant, you are employees, what kind of employees, like financial analyst, or you are like business, analyst, or you are maybe a finance manager, and so on. And then remain a closed book exam. So it means you cannot, this one important, you cannot bring your present material into the exam hall with your annotation. It means when you go through present material, some of you maybe you print it out, then you write something, right? That piece of paper cannot bring in. Having said that, your CBE, computer-based exam, you will have the present material inside. You will still be able to view the present material. So you don't need to memorize whatever inside your present material. But then you cannot bring your own paper inside. Then some students ask me, am I given blank paper for me to do planning? I don't think so, because they want to encourage you to use the computer-based platform to actually do your planning. So I don't think they will give you paper. But as far as I know, you can bring in your calculator. Calculator, okay, right? But not other things, right? Okay, then resources available for you are actually, you have a lot. I believe you receive some in your email. I also believe that when you log into your student hub, I think your platform, my ACCA or whatsoever, I'm not so sure. I think there should be a hub for you to get some information. So please have a look at it. You can check your email. I think you will have plenty of email telling you that these resources you can use, that resources you can use. For further information, please refer to the hub. That is the one. Okay, please go and see. That is the one, right? But of course, whatever information that I think is useful to you, I already share in Google Classroom. And that's the reason why you engage with a tuition provider, right? You don't need to go and decide, oh, should I use this? Should I see that? And so on. I will tell you, I will advise you what I think you need to know, right? Okay. Right, so that's it for this. And then this one, how to use SBL Present. Okay, I have some highlight, some important things only. I'm not going to read everything, but I'm just telling you some important things. Now, the present material will not tell you information about the question. This one is confirmed. ACC already repeat many times already. ACC will not tell you information about what question will be out in the present material. So in the present material, what you expect to see is the industry information and the organization information. So it's something like what happened in the industry recently, what happened along the way, like 10 years ago until now, or what happened in the industry. The organization, what is the background of the organization? Who is the founder? What is the history? Last time, what event or what particular issue that they have gone through. So you will know all this organization background. Then you will also know something like maybe a little bit about the organization mission, the goals they want to achieve, or the current states, or some KPI, or some financial highlights like what is the revenue, what is the profit, what is the ROCE maybe, right? What is the level of EPS maybe, right? All these kind of things, all these kind of things. Okay, now the highlight things I want to show you, if you see the highlight things I want to show you, there is no expectation that students undertake further research. So you don't need to go and research like if you have gone through the briefing I share with you, it is about airline. You don't need to go and research airline industry in real life. What happened? Air Asia do what? My airline recently, closed down and so on. No need, because your case study is fictitious. Fictitious means what? They create one. It's not our real information. It's not our real world. So even the industry information also is created. The country, the location, the setting, the geographical aspects in the case study is created. Everything created. So that's why you don't need to undertake further research. You don't need to undertake further research. So you don't need to go and Google and things like this. No need one. You just need to spend your time, spend your effort understanding the precinct material. Very important. Very important. Okay. Bye-bye. 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 Right. Then here. The precinct live examination is a closed book exam, so you cannot take your own annotated copy of the precinct into exam. This one also very important that I would like to tell you, right? A copy of precinct will be available to you for reference purpose in the platform itself, in the CBE itself. Okay. Now, what to avoid? This one also important. Put larger. Hold on. Okay. Right. What to avoid? Avoid extensive additional research into the industry. Don't need to do additional research. Actually, no need. Avoid speculating on areas of the syllabus that will be examined based on the precinct. When we do discussion later, right, we will kind of like, this one maybe they will ask like this, but you don't focus like, I see something related to the book, to the board. Okay, I will study corporate governance only. Cannot be like this. So we still need to have knowledge about the whole syllabus of SBL. Then avoid using the precinct as the main source of material for answering the exam task. This is also very important because students have time in looking into the precinct. They will understand and know very much about the precinct information. So they tend to use a lot of precinct information to answer the question. But ACCA already mentioned the main source of points that you're supposed to use to answer your question, right, is supposed to come from exhibits, not precinct. Precinct is to understand the background only, right? To understand the background only. So the main source of information that you're supposed to use is from the exhibits that we are going to see on the exam day itself. So you still need to take some time to understand what the precinct material, what the exhibit information is all about, right? You still need to take time to understand, right? Avoid reading the precinct for the first time just before the exam session. So that's why as soon as it is released, we have to go through already. So I think I will plan my last lesson is to go through the precinct material. But before that, if you get it, please go through. Please go through. And you are not supposed to go through only one time. You're supposed to see a few times, right? Avoid spending too much time on the precinct at the expense of revising areas of syllabus and complete practice mock exam. The meaning is you are supposed to look at the precinct. Yes, no people doubt on this, right? But you don't spend too much time just to look at the precinct and then didn't practice other exam questions, didn't practice how to time yourself, didn't take care of other aspects. That's what ACCA is trying to tell you. You are not supposed to spend too much time until you neglect some other practice, some other preparation. Okay, right. So, next one. Avoid question tipping and spotting. You're not supposed to. It's not supposed to. Actually, from the start when SBL is introduced until now, we cannot spot question. I try to do exam analysis, the question analysis, past year analysis, whatever you call that. But I give up because I cannot see a pattern. I cannot see that, this one come out already, won't come out. This one come out already. No. This sitting come out already, next sitting still will come out. Like my experience is big data and integrated reporting. I come out two sitting continuously. So if you say, last sitting already out, then I don't need to study already, then you're wrong. So cannot spot, cannot spot. Now, COVID-19 will not appear in your exam question. So you don't write, because of COVID-19. No. If you write because of COVID-19, they will know that you never read this article. Right? You should ignore the effect of COVID-19 for the purpose of SBL exam. So remember that. Okay, remember that. Right. So a little bit introduction about precinct. Then now we want to look at our precinct already. Okay, the paper that I have given to you. Right. Okay, paper that I've given to you. Right. I try to display, but it didn't allow me to display. Okay, I hope you can see. I forgot to ask you, can you listen to my voice clearly? Can you hear my voice clearly? Okay, can? Okay. No, No breaking like this. Okay, fine. Right. So I think you can see my screen already. Let's talk about present information. We can see what is expected inside the present information. But before that, let me just go through one more time, see whether is there any important thing I would like to tell you. Okay. Okay. I brief you a little bit about how to go through this exam first. Right. Just now we said 3 hours and 15 minutes, right? Yeah, write down. I think I write down. Hold on, I'll see whether I can write down. I can draw that. Okay, fine. Let's try. Okay, let's say now you have 3 hours and 15 minutes, right? Okay, 3 hours and 15 minutes. As far as what I mentioned to you just now, as far as I remember, the 15 minutes is for you to mm, read only. As far as I remember, it's like this. So I usually ignore the 15 minutes. The 15 minutes definitely is for reading purpose. Okay, I use another color to read. Set a color. Okay, this 15 minutes, right? Usually I will treat it as reading. I treat it as reading. So I usually will ignore this lah when I do my time planning. So you are having 3 hours remaining, assuming that you are having 3 hours remaining, assuming that. So these 3 hours remaining, you have two questions that you have to ask yourself. The first question is, I want to type. Okay. The first question is, how long do you need to read? This one you have to find out. You cannot agak-agak, I think I need like this and like that. I cannot. You have to find out this. So how to find out? You have to practice. You have to practice. There are specimen. There are specimen, and I will also give you mock exam. I think the second last Saturday session. So I give you mock exam. At the time you can find out lah. At the time you can find out, right? And after today we have gone through that paper, right? We were going through September 2023 paper, the real past year. Now after we have gone through the paper, you still can like maybe few days later or 1 week later, you still can use that paper. Try to time yourself and see how long do you need to read, right? You have to find out. So you have to go and do some practice to find out this. Okay. Then you assume 40 minutes. Let's say, sorry, this one. Okay. Let's say we assume 40 minutes you read to when I say 40 minutes, I mean to read and plan the answer. That's what I mean, to read and plan. What do I mean by plan? Later I will demo to you. Later I demo to you what do I mean by plan. Now my style is when I read, right, I will at the same time plan the answer. So when I write my answer, when I actually writing my answer, right, I will not need to think anything anymore because my planning stage, during the planning stage, I already consider, I already think already. Right. So during the planning stage, I already do my thought process. So when I write, right, when I type, I mean, so-called write is now type lah. When I type, right, I actually based on my answer planning to type everything into sentences only. I don't think further already. So that is my style. So I need more time to do this. Usually I say this. Last time, when we have 4 hours exam, right? Because we don't have preset material, everything is given on the spot. So I remember when I try, right, I need about 1.5 hours at least minimum to go through this stage, read and plan without writing yet. 1.5 hours. Sometimes if the case study is having a lot of exhibits, very difficult to understand, I need 2 hours. So 2 hours read and planning, another 2 hours to write only. That is my style last time. So now if I assume 40 minutes to read and plan, okay, I'm talking about the 3 hours. I will ignore the 15 minutes usually. I'm talking about 3 hours. 3 hours. Okay, right. So assuming you need 40 minutes to read and plan the whole thing, it means how much time left for you to write? How much time left for you to write the remaining time? Because 3 hours is like, okay, I write here first. 3 hours is 180 minutes. Correct? My calculation correct? 180 minutes. So if you have 40 minutes to read and plan, remaining time will be 140 minutes. Alright? Am I right? 140 minutes remaining time. So 140 minutes for 100 marks. Am I right? Okay, so it means 1 mark you have 1.4 minutes to write to write your answer. Right? So this is how we do the calculation. This is how we do the calculation. I think I write like this. 1.4 minutes per mark. Then depends on your question, how many marks, then you times accordingly. So that's how you control your time. Then you might be asking, do I really need to do this? If you don't do this, you have no idea how much time you need to use in one question. Sometimes you use too much time already. That is where students will find, no time already, I still have one task. That is where the problem comes. So you need to have an idea. You at least need to have a rough idea how much time you need for each question. Right? Now this planning, you can do it in a very broad, scenario, in the sense that you have 3 tasks, right? Let's say task 1 you have 25 marks. Let's say that. Task 2 you have 40 marks, 50 marks. Let's I want to do like this. 35 marks. Okay. Task 2, you have 40 marks, let's say. Then how much remaining? 25 marks. I think so. I think so. Roughly. Okay. 3 plus 4, 75. Yes, correct. So you at least you need to do a rough calculation, rough idea. 35 marks times 1.4 is how much? So let me open my calculator. 35 marks times 1.4. It means you have 49 minutes to answer or to write your answer for this particular task. Then 40 marks times 1.4, you have 56 minutes. Okay, 56 minutes. And then 25 marks times 1.4, 25 marks times 1.4, you have 35 minutes. At least you need to know this very broad idea. You need to have this broad idea so you will know how you are supposed to control your timing. So at when you are answering task 1, right? Okay. Oh, okay. I try to cast the total and see whether it's 140 minutes. Yes, correct. Okay, so uh, at least you must have a broad idea. So when you answer task 1, you can only have 49 minutes. So you see what is the time you start your task 1, and then after 49 minutes, you are not supposed to continue writing your task 1 anymore. So you're supposed to move to task 2 already, right? For another 56 minutes. So after the 56 minutes, sorry, you have to move to task 3 already. So this is how you will attend all the questions to maximize your marks. You cannot you cannot bear the risk. I would say like this. No one sitting SBL, right, can bear the risk of forfeiting any question. Cannot. You must answer everything, because only when you answer everything, you are maximizing your marks. You are maximizing the chance of you getting more marks across 100 marks. If you give up, like for example, task number 3, you never answer, then the maximum you can get is 75 marks, right? So the chance of you passing is even more slim, right? So we cannot afford to take this risk. We must answer all the questions. So this one you must do. I would say you must do at least a broad idea. Now some students, they will do more so-called more detail, because task 1 you may have A and B, task 2 you may have A and B, task 3 you have A and B, sometimes A, B, C, who knows, right? So in such a case, some students, they will even divide the minutes into the subtopic, right? So into the sub question. So it depends on you, right? But at the very minimum, this one must be out. Okay, so you need to spend some time like 2 minutes to actually do all this calculation. Then if you feel, hey, this calculation already take me a lot of time, that is where from now onwards you have to practice. Right? From now onwards you have to practice. Even though you go and practice your 4-hour paper, you can still practice this, right? Okay, all right. Some students ask, should I practice the 4-hour paper? Because now it's 3 hours, 15 minutes already. Should I practice the 4-hour paper? If you ask me, I would say you can. You can. Because if you time yourself in 4 hours, you practice that paper. Actually, it is more challenging, I would say. The 4-hour paper is more challenging compared to your 3-hour and 15 minutes paper. Why do I say so? Because the 4-hour paper is you have no preset material. You have to analyze within that 4 hours. So when it comes to 3 hours and 15 minutes and you have preset material, you have lesser things to analyze. Of course, lesser time, yes, but you have lesser things to analyze. If you go through the 4-hour paper, it may brush up your skills to be more efficient, to make you more efficient. But you don't need to go through every 4-hour paper. You don't need to go through every 4-hour paper. You can pick maybe 2 or 3 to train up your skills. I would say it definitely help you. I definitely help you. And then for the new format, we are going through in our Saturday class, all the papers that is available for you, we will go through in our Saturday class. Okay, right. Or maybe you let me know lah. Because I'm thinking if I go through all the paper in Saturday class, you have no paper that you can practice yourself. Maybe you let me know. The next lesson, should I actually go through the 4-hour paper or should I actually go through 3 hours and 15 minutes paper? Maybe you let me know. Later I set out a pool. You let me know. Okay. Pool. Cannot later set. Later set, I'll forget already. Which one? 4-hour paper. Now I'm thinking, if I go through 4 hours paper, right, it's also good. At least you have an idea on how to manage the 4-hour paper. Then you can go and practice by yourself. I think so. Okay. What is that? Record it. Okay. I can go and vote. I already make the vote live already. I can go and vote. Should I actually go for 4-hour paper for the next lesson? Or should I go for 3 hours and 15 minutes paper? Okay, because it's like this. We will have this September 2023 paper, specimen 1 and specimen 2. So far, you can only practice 3. Then the last lesson I plan to go through with you pre-sim. So it means 3 more Saturday lesson. I will cover all the 3 paper. But if I cover all the 3 paper, you have no paper that you can practice. My concern is like this. My concern is like this. You have no paper that you can practice. So do you prefer to leave one paper for you to practice? Because the second last lesson, I will have the mock exam. The mock exam, I will use one of the paper. I will use one of the paper. So I am wondering, should I actually leave one paper for you to practice? Just like this. So you let me know. There are 5 of you today. Also, you can go to the activity button, right? And then you click pool. I think you should be able to see. So you let me know. We will go for majority one. Right? Okay, so at the same time when you're voting, then let's continue. Okay, right. Continue. Another thing to tell you is ACCA strongly encourage you to go through ethics and professional skills module. Ethics and professional skills module before you go for SBL exam. Now, what is that? I think I also share with you. Wait, let me see in classwork I share with you. Should be that, but let me see. Let me see. Introduction. Yes, correct. Introduction to SBL. This side I already shared with you. Let me show you. Show you. This one already shared with you. Especially for SBL paper, they strongly encourage you to go through ethics and professional skills module before you actually go for SBL exam. Their statistics is 73% of the students who have gone through the ethics and professional skills module pass ACCA SBL exam. So they strongly encourage you because the passing rate is way higher compared to the global passing rate. So they encourage you to go through. Now, what is this so-called EPSM? In short, we call EPSM. What is this EPSM? EPSM is like an online module, online training. You can think about it like online training. The online training that help you to visualize the real working experience. And the online training will have a few modules, and then a total you need to take 20 hours to complete. But the 20 hours need not to be continuous. Like today, I have 3 hours. I go through 3 hours. But tomorrow, very sian. I don't want to go through 3 hours. I want to go through half an hour. Can. Right? So you log in. After you subscribe, you need to pay subscription. So you need to pay for it, just like you pay for exam like this. So after you subscribe, you go in. Whenever, at which stage you stop, right? Next time when you go in, you will resume at the stage. You won't need to do it one more time, right? So that is the convenience of EPSM. But ACCA strongly encourage you to go through EPSM. Why is that so? Because the 20 marks professional skills marks, right? They also test you on your professionalism. EPSM will greatly train you about the professionalism. Okay, so they encourage you, but there's no compulsory. So it's still up to you. But I would like to deliver the message from ACCA. They encourage you to do so. Right, then cannot take any paper in the exam hall, already told you. Three separate questions. Okay, this one I will tell you in details. I'll tell you in details later when we look at this kit. When we look at practice platform. And then okay, never mind. Let's go through the practice platform already. I show you a bit. I complete all my introduction first before I actually I actually go to the real paper. Okay, where is my practice platform? Sini. Okay, right. Okay, I see the pool. Four of you prefer 4-hour paper. Okay, so I'll arrange one 4-hour paper. Maybe arrange a latest one to be more relevant to you. Wait. I want to display my practice platform. Okay. Okay, now something to brief you about practice platform before we look at preset material. Now, practice platform is like this. And there are three separate questions. Now, what does it mean by this? You see, when you come in, right? Oh, before that, I need to tell you where is it. Let me just go back and tell you where is it. Go later. Wait, it's here. Okay, I close this and then I try to log in again, right? Hey, I need to tell you which paper. How do you get the paper? Wait, candidate. Okay, where do you get your paper? Where do you get your paper? When you log into practice platform, it should look something like this, right? So where do you get your paper? I strongly encourage you not to turn to night mode. Why? Because when you turn to night mode, right, when you later open I try and see whether it will happen. Because yesterday when I open, right, when I do the highlighting, I become like this. You see? I become like this. So I strongly encourage you not to turn the night mode. Night mode don't want. The day mode will do. Okay, day mode. Right. Okay. Strategic business leader here is here. You just press the plus button. It will expand. Then you go to ACCA office resources. ACCA official resources. Past exam library. You will see the past examination. All right, so you can assign this one September 2023. My one is unassigned is because I already assigned. So you can assign. You can assign it. Then specimen exam is here. This one is valid from September 2023 onwards on these two specimen exam. So I'll pick one for your mock. Which one to pick? I'll let you know. My initial plan, I think I will go for my initial plan. My initial plan is specimen 2. I want to pick specimen 2 for your mock exam. So you can practice specimen 1 if you want, right? Specimen 2, please don't look at it yet. Okay. So we treat it as a practice. We treat it as a practice. So we are supposed to have present. Present I will share with you. You don't need to go in now. I will share with you. Present I'll share with you before you go for the mock exam. Okay. Right. So you assign this September 2023. So it should be here already. It should be here. So my one is resume is because I already clicked on it. Yours one should be start. So when you click start, right, they will bring you through the instruction and so on and so forth. Then you are supposed to scroll everything. Make sure you scroll everything before you click next, or else they won't allow you to click next. But if let's say you already scroll everything, sometimes you have bug. If you already scroll everything, but they still don't allow you to click next, right? You just refresh it. You refresh it, they will bring you to the paper already. Right? That is what happened on me. Right? Okay, so this is the paper. How do you assign a paper? So you can assign other paper. Like if you want to practice for 4 hours all these are 4 hours before September 2023, everything is 4 hours Okay. So you can go and practice. So you click start, it will bring you to the paper already. Okay. I'll pause for 2 minutes for you to try and see. If this is the first time you actually, assign the paper to yourself and so on, you can try now. You can try now. And then later only we go through the structure that I want to introduce to you before we actually go to the real paper itself. So today what we are going to do is we are going to look at the precinct material, right? I will tell you, because the precinct material, I will tell you in a way that, it's like I never look at the question yet. I only look at the precinct material first. I will tell you in a way, when I look at the precinct material for the first time without looking at the question, what is my, I'll tell you this, right? Then after that, we'll go through the question. I will tell you what is the sequence of reading the question. What is the sequence that I find it the best in reading the question, right? Then how to do the answer planning. I think answer planning more towards afternoon session already. I think so. So yeah, so that's how. Anyone face problem with the practice record? Is everything okay? Practice record? Or later only you want to open also okay, no problem. There is no force, there's no force. Okay, so just make sure you know how to open so that we will be able to do some preparation. So I strongly encourage you to go through. At least you must open you cannot say you don't want to open. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay, let's talk about how the structure is. Last time, show you. You don't need to go back. I show you only. Now, last time, right? I think when you attend my Tuesday class, you should know. Tuesday class, I think I go through this paper. Now, last time they are like this. You have all the tasks listed in the first page, and there is no next page. Navigation, only case study 1. That's it. If you click the navigation, you will not see task 1, 2, 3, 4 because it's considered one question, right? So one question, everything will be here. So you can navigate task 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. Right? So that is the previous one, the 4 hour one. But now the 3 hour one, you can only see task 1 in the first page. Right? You can only see task 1 in the first page. Then how to see task 2? You have to click next. Now when you click next, again you have to scroll everything. Right? This is ACCA so-called the system format. You have to scroll everything before you can click next. So you click next, you can see task 2. Now when you click next, you notice that all the highlight is gone. It's gone. It is in first page. Right? So it's like different question. They treat it as different question. So if you see the navigator, you will see, task 1, task 2, and so on. So you will be able to click next to see the task 2. Okay, then you will be able to click next again to see the task 3, and you will be able to go back to task 1. No issue. You are able to go back to task 1. So how are you supposed to answer? You are supposed to answer in a way. Task 1, you answer here. Make sure it is in task 1 window and answer here. When it is task 2, you have to go to task 2 and answer in the task 2 response option. Answer in the task 2 response option. When it is task 3, you have to go to task 3 and answer in the task 3 response option. That is the difference. That's the difference. Because last time they don't have this thing. They don't have this thing, right? You might be wondering, if I highlight my exhibit, okay, when I move to task 2, is the exhibit highlight still there? Let's try. Okay, task 2, highlight data. Highlight data. It looks like highlight data. Wait, let me see. Is it here? Easier. Task 1 easier. Task 2 tak ada. Okay, so that is how they structure already. All right. So, but the good news is, they have more, they have clearer linkage between the task and the exhibits. What does it mean by that? It means this task 1, most likely you will refer to a certain exhibit. Last time, during the 4-hour paper, because you can see everything, the paper that we discussed in this one Tuesday class, you'll see it. The information can come from here, there, So it's very confusing, right? Actually, it's very confusing. So they found out that students fail to really integrate it well, honestly. Then I think it's because of some industry feedback and so on, and maybe they refer to other professional paper and so on, right? They decided to come up with precinct material. Now, when they come up with precinct material and they change the structure of the exam, right? So they have a more how to say, they have a more structured way in structuring the exhibit. So task number 1 will be related to a certain exhibit. Usually it's exhibit 1. It's in sequence. Usually it's in sequence. Then task number 2, usually you will not need to look at the previous exhibit anymore lah. So it's something good news lah. It's good news. It is easier to link. It's less dispersed. The information is less dispersed, and then less interdependent between the tasks. So it means task 1, 2, 3 most likely to be quite isolated tasks. It means like you don't need to look at task 1 to answer task 2. So it's a good news. It's a good news, right? And then also the task and the exhibit, the linkage is clearer. So you will know, like, for example, exhibit 3 is to answer task 2. You will know that. So when you move to task 2, even though exhibit 1, the highlight is not there, it doesn't really affect a lot. Okay? So good news. I think it's a good effort of ACCA making all the consideration like this, because when it is not right, when you have this kind of exam structure, it's very, very troublesome. Your highlight is missing when I move to task number 2. It's very troublesome, right? So yeah, so that is something that I believe ACCA team already considered. Okay, then you also have your precinct information here. Just that you have whatever that you have written in your paper So you somehow or other, you have to be familiar with the precinct material before you go for exam. Okay, then there's also one changes compared to the previous, previous 4-hour paper, whereby they test the professional skills in a way that, no, it's not here. Professional skills here. They test the professional skills in the way that every professional skills, they will have 4 marks. And then they will only test the professional skills at one time. It means there are 5 professional skills, right? Each of them are only be tested one time. Right, this one is something change, because last time when we have 4-hour paper, right, the evaluation skill can come 2 or 3 times, skepticism skill can come 2 or 3 times, right? But now only one time. Analysis one time, skepticism one time, evaluation one time, commercial accountment one time, communication one time. It's only one time, and it's 4 marks, right? It's standard 4 marks. Okay, but in terms of professional skills marks, the 20 marks that they give you, right, what do they judge? What do they judge? They judge on how much you fulfill your professional skills marks, which is this one. Like, for example, this one, they ask you to do what? Communication. How much you fulfill this communication, right? This is the first thing. And the second thing is your overall professionalism. Like, for example, you don't recommend people to go and take bribe. You don't recommend people to go and do corruption. You don't recommend people to go and scold your CEO. Right? Professionalism. So this is something very highly demanded. Like, as a professional, we need to be professional, right? Okay. So that is something that I would like to introduce to you. Okay. So practice platform. I think I will give you a 5 minutes break. You can go for toilet break and so on before we actually sit down and really look at the question. You can navigate around the practice platform. And then you can play around, right? You can play around. Then later we will have a look at it again, right? And I would like to just inform you that the attendance for morning and afternoon session will be different. So I will share with you one form in morning session. I will share with you another form in afternoon session. Okay, right? So you can take a 5 minutes toilet break first before we come back and really look at the precinct material. Right. At the same time, you can take your attendance first. You can scan the QR code and take your attendance. Alternatively, I paste the attendance link in the chat box. So see you in 5 minutes time. Okay, so now we want to mimic the situation that we'll have when we have this paper. So the situation that we will have is how is we will get the precise material first. Right, correct. We will get the precise material first, and then after that, we will uh analyze the precise material, and then after that, we go to exam hall, we'll see the rest of the thing. Right? So we will go through the precise first. Now we have 2 weeks time to actually go through the precise material. Now again, like what I mentioned, you don't need to do additional research because all the case study, all the things in the case study are fictitious. Fictitious means created one, not the real not the real business world. Right? So you don't need to undertake additional research about the particular industry that is given to you in your precise material. Okay, and then also one more thing is you do not uh read the precise material only for one time, right? You will probably expect yourself to read like a few times to understand the precise material well. Huh? So you don't expect yourself read only one time and then you go to exam. It's not going to happen in this way, right? It's not going to happen in this way. Okay, so now we want to go through the precise material. Assuming we actually receive this precise material 2 weeks before our exam. So how are we supposed to look at it? Okay, right. So when I explain this to you, right, I also assume myself never read the question yet. So whatever I highlighted is whatever that I whatever thought that I have when I read the precise material without reading the question. Okay, so this is something that is very, very genuine, I would say. So let's go through. Hey, precise information of this September paper. Okay, so they have, okay, right. Have some error over there. Okay, so they have content list also for you, but then it's okay. We are not going to use much on it. Okay, here. Now you don't need to rush to highlight. I'll go through one by one. So no need to rush to highlight. Okay, good. Um, should I open picture? Let's see. Whether I can open picture. Okay, how would it be displayed in your how is it displayed? Okay, can I think it's very clear already. Right. Now introduction. There are quite a number of pages. 12 pages of this precise material. So it's quite long. It gives you very, very detailed introduction about the industry and also about the company. But you have no way that you can spot your question one. I already read through and I know already. So you have no way you can spot your question. Okay, now introduction. This company so happen I do not know how to pronounce, but it doesn't matter. It's not important. The pronunciation is not important. But it is called something like Corjetz, I suppose. Corjetz. Okay, so let's assume it's Corjetz. Corjetz is a low-cost regional airline business. It was established 20 years ago in Holland, a country located in the continent of Tundra. Okay, I highlighted the word low cost. It's very important to know what kind of generic strategy the company is using. Very important. So when we say generic strategy, what does it mean? Generic strategy means either you go for low cost or you go for differentiation. I hope you know about it. I hope you know. Either you go for low cost or you go for differentiation. Okay. So why is it important? It's important because the generic strategy is the overall strategy that the company is choosing, right? The company choose to go for that strategy. Then when you when you recommend, or the when you recommend the um uh uh action to be taken, or when you recommend any strategy that you think the company can take, you need to see whether it match with the generic strategy or not. So it's very important for you to know what kind of generic strategy the company is going for. Very important. Very important to know about it. So that's why I highlight that low cost. Then I highlight another word called regional. Do you see I highlight the word regional? Why is it important? Because I want to know whether it is local, whether it is international, and so on, right? I need to know this airline, the coverage of the business. How big is that? How big is that? So apparently it is regional, is maybe it's a little bit smaller than international, because international is like the whole world already, ma. So regional is like one region only, yeah. Okay, but it's still more than local lah. It's still more than local. So I would say it's a medium size, maybe it's big size or so, who knows? But it's definitely not a small size. Also, it's very important. Regional means it is not local, ma. When it is not local, right, then it means it is across a few countries at least. That's what we call regional. It's across a few countries. When you have a business across a few countries, you will have, not to say issue, but you will have consideration, like for example, foreign exchange. You will have consideration like regulations. Different country, they may have different regulations, right? So it is important for you to know the coverage of business. Is it only local, or is it international, or is it regional? Very important for you to know. And I also know it is airline business. It's airline business means flight lah. Means flight lah. So you have airline business means you will have something like airplane as well. I said, right? Airplane usually is this lah, but we do not know lah. Later maybe it will help. It's a airplane, and then you have a cabin crew, as your employee, and then you will face some risk, like for example, some natural risk, or some risk from the this one terrorists and so on, right? So you can kind of like imagine it like our Mars airline like this, okay, right. Right? Okay. It was established 20 years ago. It's quite some time, not a new company. So I write there quite matured. It's quite a new company already. It's quite a matured company already. It's not a new company. This is what I would take notes, right? And then do you know what is the meaning of continent? Continent. Continent means like an area like this. Like for example, Asia. Asia is a continent. And then what else? Europe. Is it? Is it Europe? Can also like Europe is a continent. That's the meaning. Continent consists of few countries, I would say. Right, continent consists of a few countries, and then it's a region. It's a region. It's not until the whole world, but it's like it crossed a few countries already. Okay, right. Continue. Over the years, it has positioned itself as one of the world leading low cost airlines, and is currently the second largest low cost airline business operating in Hyundai, the continent, not the country. Our continent and country different. It's a few countries, right? Asian, for example. So it is the second largest in the continent itself. Quite big, quite established, quite big, right? Quite a big company. Okay. Corjetz currently operates nearly 1,000 routes destination in over 30 countries across Hyundai. Its head office is based at Near City Airport, located at the south of Holland. Hyundai is a politically stable and economically developed continent of the world. Most of the countries in Hyundai form a trading bloc which facilitates free trade and free movement of people within it. Each country in Hyundai use its own currency. Holland currency is the dollar. Okay, now a few points, a few important information I pick up. Politically stable and economically developed, it means it's a good economy lah. Right? It's a good economy. It's a developed economy, I would say. So something like US, UK, right? All the Western country lah, is a developed economy. So what is the impact? What's the implication of developed economy? It means maybe people there, probably, I'm saying probably, traveling is one of the activity in the developed country, right? Maybe people there will have the income, or will have the luxury. They are able to afford traveling, right? So that may be one of the external environment supporting why this company is so successful. It can be like this. Then furthermore, the next point is facilitate free trade and free movement of people. The country in Hyundria usually encourage people to move around, encourage people to do business across the countries in the continent. Then it will uh actually make the traveling industry to be prosper, right? So of course airline is one of it, right? So because of these features because of these features that facilitate free trades and free movement, it helps the company to be successful, right? So usually I will take note on this. I do not know whether I will need to use it in my exam, but I will take note on this. Oh, they have these supporting factors. That's why the company, the airline can be successful, right? Okay, each country use own currency, not like the European. They only use euro. So each country they use own currency. It means exchange rate will have issue. I'm not to say issue. I mean exchange rate movement will affect the cost. I will say like this. Exchange rate movement will affect the cost. Again, I do not know whether I need to use this information in the exam, but I will take note. I will take note that every country exchange rate different. Every country the currency use different. Okay. Okay, Corjetz operates a point-to-point service, meaning that it operates its flights directly between destinations. This means that its passengers do not have to travel to or change flight at the hub airport to reach their destination, which help Corjetz to reduce its operating costs. So this is like direct flight lah. Actually, I don't know what do you think about. I like direct flight. I don't like you to transit like this. It wastes my time. I don't like. So I actually like direct flight. Direct flight, I actually like it a lot. So apparently this is the way that they actually save their operating costs as well. So it sounds good. Then we have okay, continue. It also keeps costs low through its no-frill approach to flight delivery. Air Asia lah, Air Asia. This approach means that in-flight meals are not provided unless paid for separately, and includes the automation of a wide range of its processes, including booking, flight documentation, baggage drop, and flight check-in. Air Asia lah, memang Air Asia. Additionally, it operates a profitable and popular portfolio of routes between over 130 airports across Hyundai. Okay, so this is how they achieve the low cost. They try to reduce the service. If you want additional service, you pay for it. If not, we will give you the basic service, and then we'll charge you very low cost. Right? Then they automate everything. They everything like Asia, like memang like Asia. Asia automate everything. So they don't need a staff to be there. I mean, not to say staff, but they don't need a lot of staff to be there to serve the customer. So the customer can do everything by themselves. Self check-in lah, you have mobile apps lah, you have you can print the baggage drop by yourself lah. You can check in by yourself lah, and so on. So you don't need the staff to do all this lah. So they can actually greatly reduce the staff cost lah. This is how they achieve the low cost. So we know a little bit background about that how they achieve the low cost strategy. Because if your question has anything that affect all this, like customer demand differently lah, or maybe like no longer can go for the direct flight lah, you have to reach the hub and so on. All these affect the cost. So we have an idea first. We have an idea first. Okay, a little bit introduction about the company. So the important information we pick is it is a low-cost airline, it's a regional airline, it is quite a matured company. Okay, then it operates in a continent which is quite established, right? Economically and politically stable. So that's the reason why the business will be prosper. Okay. Right now, we talk about industry information. Industry information, I would like you to read. Maybe I'll give you, let me see how long it should be. Okay, we read part by part. We read part by part. You read until here first. This one is not. Okay. Tak boleh you see. Okay, right. Right, we read part by part. We just read this one first. I think I give you about 5 minutes. We just read overview and passenger type first. 5 minutes you read through, you see whether any important things to pick or not. Don't care about whether I highlight or not. You just read through by yourself. Okay. Right. So 5 minutes first, read through this one, then we'll discuss about it. But I think, yeah, we go slow first, 5 minutes first. Then later only we talk about this, right? Okay. Right, we have quite a number of information about the airline industry. There are quite a number of information, but for me is I see is something that make you understand better only lah. Not no important points lah that we can that we need to take note lah. This piece of information actually tell you is about commercial flight versus non-commercial flight. So of course this company called Corjetz Corjetz is under commercial flight lah, because non-commercial flight is like for special purpose one, for military and so on, right? So Another thing is it has major influence on globalization. So yes, I agree because it actually transport people. So passenger type is we have leisure passenger and also business passenger. Now it says that both type of passenger can either travel first class, business class, or economic class. But as per my understanding, as per my information, the thing that I know, the information that I know, and maybe I can share with you. Usually, um, business passenger, they will travel using business class. Usually. But of course, not every company is so kind, give you business class. So some of them, like if your position is not that high, maybe you will still need to travel using economic class. But leisure passenger, the passenger who really go to travel only, they usually won't opt for first class or business class. Usually they will opt for economic class. That is how, usually it happens. So this also give you a lot of information what is the difference between each of the class. So after this, right, I actually wondering, maybe if you know, you can let me know which airline actually give provide first class and business class. Because I would like to try also. So you can let me know if you know any first class or business class airline actually give a very good service. You let me know. All right, so it's only general information that is telling you. Okay, fine. So we want to know Corjetz is offering which class one. Not sure yet. Corjetz is actually serving leisure passenger or business passenger. Not sure yet. Until here, we do not know yet. Okay, so we continue to read further. So another 5 minutes for you to read this airline types by service and by business model. See whether you want to take note anything important or not. I think no need 5 minutes or 3 minutes enough already for you to read page number 3. Okay. Okay, if you see this information, also nothing much, it's just give you some information. So basically you can see the airline types is international, national, and regional. So Corjetz is under regional. We all know Corjetz is under regional. Right, fine. So international airline baby is mainly, sorry, I'm not saying maybe. Mainly is global, going for global. So it's the largest and often the most well-known one. So this is more on global one, offer global service. Okay, then usually the airplane also like a bit bigger. National airline is only the local one, so nothing to do with the exchange rate things, the currency things on it. Nothing to do with that. Then regional airline is the one that Corjetz is in. So basically is to offer a service within a specific region. Usually they targets those locations not offered by either national or international airlines. So basically we can say that these regional airline they tap on the gap. You see, they tap on the gap that international and national airlines have. So between international airlines and national airlines, where are the gap? Regional airline is the one that serve this group of customer. Okay. Airline type by business model. Full service carrier is like full service carrier is like Thai Airline, Singapore Airline, those so-called premium one. Qatar. The other day, my sister told me Qatar and also Emerald. Emerald, okay, that's that kind of airline. Then low cost carrier is the one that Corjetz is currently in, like Air Asia, like our Malindo and so on. But again, you don't need to do research on the real business world. So I'm trying to give you some examples so that you can visualize. So basically, they target on low cost. So they have smaller aircraft, they have smaller airplane, more limited services. Try to fly to smaller and less popular airports. So that's why they can reduce costs. So the landing and ground handling fees are cheaper. So usually they will have economy. Yes, definitely. But sometimes you have business class, but usually they don't have first class. Right? Then we have other types of airlines as well. This one is charter airlines. Usually is this one booked by this travel agency one, travel agency. And then cargo is the one that transport items on items. Right? Good. So we know that where is the position of Corjetz. Corjetz is regional and also low cost. Right? So still information for you, nothing very significant. So another 5 minutes for you to go through this part. Let me see. Before industry challenge. Until here. Until here. Another 5 minutes. Okay? Right. Okay, right? Let's have a look. Until here still information based to me information based. Now they say that they save. I mean, low cost airlines save costs is because they don't go through hub, right? So they are trying to tell you, they are trying to give you the information. Hub means you have to fly to this so-called hub first, this place called hub first. Then only you fly to another place. So that is what we call transit. For me personally, I don't like. I like direct one. You don't ask me to transit and wait like 3-4 hours sleep at airport. I don't like. So there is no need to connect passenger through a hub airport. So you can straight away go to the destination. So they will save some cost basically. Then this model has proved popular with airline customers. So this is the reason demand. This is something that if you ask me what to take note, perhaps this is what you can take note. It's like the recent demand is like this. The demand is in line with the Corjetz, business model, so-called. So low cost airline usually operate this model. So it is in line with the demand of the customer, I would say like this, right? Okay, so this one a bit illusion. When you scroll, it looks a bit illusion. Okay, anyway, key air transport statistic. Okay, this is not related to the company itself, but it's related to the whole industry and also whole continent perhaps. So we're talking about this continent. If you have a look at it, I do some simple calculation only. So there's a global data and also the continent data. So I actually calculated the revenue. So this Hyundra continent, right? This continent, this region, actually, it has about 20.31%. I mean, in terms of like compared to the global revenue, if you calculate, right, it's quite a lot, I would say. Globally, they have 390 billion, and 20.31% of it is coming from this continent. So it's quite a big, I would say, a big chunk of revenue. Not very very big, but it's quite significant, I would say. All right, so that is how we can actually visualize that Hyundai, this continent, right? You have very you have quite a heavy flow of people. I would say like this, quite a heavy flow of people that supports the business of airline. I would say like this, right? Okay, fine. What else? Flight management activity. You have air traffic control. They are trying to tell you what is that. What is that? Air traffic control. You have a tower one. Basically, is to make sure all the aircraft won't crash with each other like this. So give information. Give instruction to the aircraft. How are you supposed to move and so on and so forth. Right? Aircraft ground handling is the one that when aircraft actually landed, right? So you have people trying to either is to check the fuel or either is to take the baggage and so on. That's what we call ground handling services. Okay, right? So this one you can have a look at it. You can have a look, but it's information for you. I would say like this. Okay, so the important part is always the challenge part. I would say it's the challenge part, because challenge is the one that give you some alert, right? Because of challenge, we need to solve the problem. So this one, maybe I'll give you 8 minutes. You take some time to read through the challenges, including the KPI, I would say like this. Until here, Corjetz overview, no need to read yet. Okay, until here. This is still about industry. So you see the pristine material actually is very, very long. Very long. So you cannot say that, hey, one day before I read, cannot. You must read a few times for you to familiarize the pristine material. Okay. So industry challenge all the way until before Corjetz overview. So let's take 8 minutes to read through. Okay. Don't look at my highlight yet. Read through by yourself first. Yeah. All right, how was it? How was it? Do you need more time? How was it? I think should be fine, not that long, Okay, we discuss. Is it okay? We discuss, right? Okay, challenge is always something that we need to take note. You can remember this. Challenge lah, reason negative publicity lah, reason scandal lah, they say, reason change lah. All these things are the things that we have to take note. It's always like this, always like this. Okay, so we need to pay more attention on this part. Let's have a look. Right, industry challenge. Demand is cyclical. Cyclical means it is a cycle one. Just like our economy states, it's also a cycle. I'm not so sure whether you have studied this before. It's also a cycle one. There's a cycle where you have bloom, and then after that you have recession. After that, it will go back recovery, and then bloom, and then recession. I think you study before when you study economy lah. So it's a cycle. It's trying to tell you in this way. Then with demand for flight driven by economic growth, for Corjetz situation, they will do better. Oh, eh, oi, my, I think my PDF something wrong. Yeah. In order to prevent this happen again, let me open with Google Chrome better. Okay. Okay. Uh, okay. So for Corjetz situation, they will do better. Corjetz will do better when there's a recession. Do you agree? Do you agree on this? Corjetz will do better when there's a recession. So this one, you must take note. Because a lot of students, automatically your thought is recession not good. Your thought automatically is that this one, recession not good, business will not be bad, will not be good, will be bad. Your thought automatically is like this. But you forgot the generic strategy that they have used. The generic strategy that they use is low cost. So they will do better during low economy because the cost, the price they give to customer is lower. Right? So remember that. So the first one is economic growth will affect the demand or will affect the business of Corjetz itself, right? In the last 10 years, low-cost carriers have increasingly taken market share, including Corjetz. So because they provide affordable and low-cost air travel. Okay, fine. Right. So we know that economic growth will be the one that affect the demand of the low-cost carrier. Okay, second one is geopolitical events, like for example, terror attack, cyber attack, extreme weather events. All these will also affect the airline industry, will also affect the demand towards the airline service lah. Okay, fine. I label this number two. Number one, number two is because I want to know, what are the external factors that will affect, airline industry and particularly Corjetz lah. So at least I know, I will have an idea. If let's say I see this in the exhibit during the exam day, then at least I know that it will affect, the business of the company. Then it will impact the customer confidence. So that's why there's a risk on demand. If let's say the geopolitical event keep on going seriously, right? The third one is fuel. This is cost. This is talking about cost, right? So fuel cost is highly volatile in the last 5 years. So that's why it will affect the cost. And the cost is very important for low cost carrier. Agree? Low cost carrier, the main purpose is to reduce the cost. But if the fuel cost is like volatile, you do not know whether it's high or low, then it is giving a high risk to airline industry, right? And also, not only the fuel, cost is volatile, that issue, but it's also because of foreign exchange movement. So that's why the cost will be volatile. Right? It looks like this. Okay. Then the airline industry is still some way away from operating aircraft with alternative fuel. They are trying to come up with something alternative so that they won't be affected by the fuel cost too much, right? But it's still some way. It's still a distance, not anywhere near to the alternative fuel yet. So anyhow, there is a fourth factor that I think that I see, which is environmentally sensitive. Nowadays, governments and customers are very environmentally sensitive, so you know, um, they want the airline to also take care of the environment. They want the airline to be sustainable as well. So I write there, it can be a competitive advantage if Corjetz take the steps in moving into this direction. So if they are the first mover moving into this direction, maybe to to operate something related to like um sustainability, maybe the way they drive the aircraft is sustainable, or maybe they use a sustainable fuel and so on. If they are the first mover, it can be a competitive advantage, but it will impact the cost, because usually first mover, you need to invest using very high cost, and sometimes the failure rate is also very high, right? But if the competitor is the first mover, if the competitor do, then you have no choice, also you have to follow. But at least you will have someone actually do it already, and then you can just kind of like refer, so you will know how you can do it lah. So at this moment, we still do not know Corjetz how much they have done. How much they have done? Have they started to be environmentally sensitive? We still do not know yet. But we will take note on these external changes, whereby our customers are now very, very demanding on to be greener, right? Okay. Then despite environmental concern, commercial international air traffic increase. Okay. Despite environmental concern, international air traffic increase. So now I'm thinking like this, because this one seems to be an opportunity, because international air traffic increase, it means we need more airline to serve that demand. Right? We need more airline to serve that demand. Now, Corjetz is having what Corjetz is having regional. Currently it's regional already, not that small already, it's quite big already. Is it a potential opportunity to go international market? I'm not so sure. So that's why I put a question mark over there. Is it a potential opportunity? But I do not know whether the question will ask me something related to this, but I will take note. Right? I will take note. International air traffic increase. I will take note this. Okay. Now, because of this, right, there is a congestion at airports, and so it drives up aircraft grounding handling service charges for all airlines. Again, this represent cost increase. Right. So two things that will be very high risk for Corjetz to keep their position as a low cost carrier, fuel and also handling costs, right? Okay. And of course, you can also say like, to be sustainable, they have to invest or maybe at something like this. I'm not sure. But the direct one will be fuel and what handling costs, right? Okay, now KPI. KPI, if you are given KPI, is always very useful. Why? KPI is the one that you can take and judge whether the company is performing well or not. It's always like this. It's always like this. If they give you KPI lah, goal lah, indicators lah, industry standard lah, all these kind of things that you can compare one, is the one that you have to take note. And ACCA expect you to use all this information and write in your answer. So you have to be very, very careful. You have to be very, very careful. Okay, you have to take note on this KPI very, very cautiously. Okay, now we have 6 KPI. If you need to judge, sorry, not to say judge, if you need to evaluate the performance of Corjetz, these are the 6 KPI that you can take note. First one, available seat kilometer. Usually you are not asked to calculate. You are not asked to calculate, but you have to know. Right? You have to know. So what does it mean by ASK? Available seat kilometer is to measure the airline capacity. How many available seats per kilometer, sort of this. Revenue per available seat kilometer, RASK, is to measure the potential revenue generation. So how good the airline is to generate the, you know, the revenue according to I mean per the available seat. So one seat can generate how much revenue? That's the meaning. Load factor is to talk about utilization. So uh it's something like occupancy rate lah, something like this, something like this. They are talking about check-in passenger lah. So the one that really sit into your aircraft lah. And then revenue passenger kilometer RPK. RPK is talking about the number of kilometers traveled by paying passengers. Okay. Then CO2, CO2 is the one related to sustainability. Just now we say environmental, you know, factor one. CO2 is the one related to environmental factor. So this is to calculate total CO2 produced. So the lower the better, lah, we say. The lower the better, right? Punctuality is arrival time, right? To be punctual. This one also is a source of customer satisfaction. If you're not punctual, customer will be very frustrated. Why? Because I know I know I am one of the passenger. If it is not punctual, right, your passenger may be late for something, right? So may be late for the next event. So that's why the airline will try their best to be punctual. Okay, so it is landing within 15 minutes of the scheduled arrival time. To me, 15 minutes is still not punctual already. You should be around 5 minutes. That's what I call punctual. But of course, very difficult to say because it depends on the weather also. So I'm kind of like quite, you know, quite difficult to handle customer. Okay, right. Yeah, industry body, they have one global trade association is to help to formulate industry policy and support airline activity. Okay, fine. Just to know that there's an association overseeing all the, you know, airline companies. Okay, right. So again, as what I told you, challenges and KPI is always something that you need to look for. Especially the KPI. Challenges is like giving you an idea what is the thing that potentially affect the company. Because remember, SBL, we are solving business problem, right? We try to give solution to the business problem, and business problem most likely will come from challenges, right? So that's why we have to take note what are the challenges that the airline industry is having. Then KPI, what is the purpose of having KPI? KPI is actually for you to compare how is the performance of Corjetz as a company, right? Or you can compare Corjetz and the industry, maybe, right? Maybe, or compare Corjetz with the competitor, right? And see how it goes. And when we say KPI, it means these are the areas that the industry emphasize a lot. Or these are the areas that it will affect the companies, it will affect the customer satisfaction. So very important to do an analysis on all these KPI. How is the achievement by the company itself? Okay, so until here is industry information, very long. I think the whole morning session we can only process our presim material. Okay, but anyway, never mind. Project overview. Okay, so now we'll take another let me see, how should I divide it? Hold on, let me see. Okay, we have project overview, background, we have growth, we have ownership. Okay, until ownership first, I suppose. Resources, we'll leave it next time, right? Ownership. Wait. It seems to be linked. Okay, we'll read the whole thing. Number 3, we'll read the whole thing. We will have 10 minutes. Okay, we'll have 10 minutes and read the whole thing. Project overview number 3, the whole thing. Right, the whole thing, Yeah. Okay, so this is about company already. Bear in mind that this is about the company already. Okay, company. So now you are reading the company information. Just now you are reading the whole industry information. It's very important to do the segregation. Why is that so? It's because segregation will help you to understand which information we should use at which time. Right? Okay, so 10 minutes, the whole number 3, the whole number 3. Okay, how was it? A lot of information about the company, I would say. A lot of information about company. We look at it slowly. Look at it slowly. Corjetz overview. Okay, in the background, they tell you it's 20 years ago again, so on. Now, the important information I pick up is it's considered a first mover for this Corjetz to be the this one affordable low cost airline. Why is that so? Is because they say that the founder spotted a gap between spotted a gap in the market. So that's the reason they provide this low cost air travel service. So I think previously not really much on a low cost airline, but now but they spotted this gap, and so they started. So one of the first mover, I would say. So I think that is the reason why they will grow strong, I would say like this. Because if you are first mover, usually your name people will remember. People will usually remember. Okay, never mind. So anyhow, we know a little bit about background of the company, whereby they seems to be the first mover who offer the low cost, aircraft, low cost air travel service, so called. Okay, right then. After that, I saw that what is the thing that make Corjetz, what is the features that make Corjetz successful? The first one is cost efficiency lah. They have been very efficient in managing the cost. So in another words to say, yes, now is competitive advantage. But then there's a risk for that. When our fuel cost is volatile, and also when there's a there's a chance where the foreign exchange is actually moving also in volatile manner. And also one more, just now we talked about the cost. One more cost is fuel and so ground handling service. So all these costs if it change, then it will really affect the position of Corjetz, right? So currently they have cost efficiency but very very risky when the cost actually move, right? They have long-term strategic partnership with the aircraft manufacturers, key airport, and so on. So this is also one of the competitive advantage that I recognize, where they have good partnership. They have good networking with all these supporting partners, so-called complementers, right? Complementers. And they also have their own aircraft. I saw that, oh, they actually have their own aircraft. It's not lease. So when you have own aircraft, what is good about that is like of course when you have own aircraft you can customize. That's the first thing, you can customize. And then if you lease, you have to pay like lease fee, leasing fee. But if you own, then you don't need to really pay leasing fee. But of course you need to have maintenance fee maintenance fee, of course, is I think whether you are leasing the aircraft or whether you own the aircraft, you still need to pay for maintenance fee, right? So a rough position about the market share, you can see that Corjetz is here. Quite big, quite big, quite big. But we have one bigger one, the competitor bigger one, a slightly bigger, I would say slightly bigger. Corjetz itself as an individual has 14%. I think is a very good position, I would say. Second largest is what they mentioned, right? Okay, but other airlines actually have 60 lah. So if you talk about this, right, actually the position is not too how to say it's not too guaranteed lah. Anytime, right, this 60% airline can actually eat up your demand as well. Not too guaranteed not too strong position also. But it's not only happening on Corjetz but then this the biggest so-called competitor is also having not too strong position also. So I would say that this industry, right, in Hyundai, low cost airline industry in Hyundai, customer has a lot of choices. Customer has a lot of choices. And most likely, when your customer go for low cost airline, they don't really be too loyal. They are not really loyal. They go for those low cost one. You offer me lower cost, I will go. All right. So just like us, we check AirAsia, we check Malindo, we check whatever it is. We still have this one. Can't remember the name. Can't remember the name. Okay, whatever it is. So we will check whichever is lower cost, we will go for it. So actually the loyalty of customer will be very big. Very big. Okay, so these founder retired already. Retired already 10 years ago. All right, so the growth, you can see the growth is quite good. The roads is getting more and more, passenger is getting more and more. And then you have the ownership. Ownership, in terms of ownership, they tell you it's listed. When a company is listed, they have to fulfill the governance requirement. Governance requirement means, like, for example, you need to have NEDs, right? And so on and so forth. Then this one, I think I give you one so-called exhibit, not exhibit. I give you one appendix already. So I think you should have an idea already. What is the implication when it is a listed company. Then 80% of the shares held by large institutional investors are okay. So basically is not too much on family owned. No, I would say not too much on family owned. Is usually is the institutional investors, like for example those that have mutual fund or those are having like for something like EPF those investment company they will invest they actually invest in Corjetz shares okay, fine. Then you have the CEO. Current CEO is this lady. Is a lady. Is a lady because it's she, right? Has been in place for 10 years. Okay, so since the founder retired, that's the meaning. Since the founder retired, then they have this lady CEO already. Okay, she was instrumental in achieving Corjetz listing. So she has done a great job, I would say. She has done a great job. For the 10 years, you have all this increment. Okay, right. Key resources. Key resources, you have roads. They have quite a number of roads, very popular. Very popular. 134 airports. 130 airports. Then they have trees. The aircraft, the airplane, 75% owned, 25% lease. Okay, they still lease, but very, very small part, 25% of it, 1/4 of it. Right. So another 3 portion, 3/4 is actually owned, right? Owned. Okay. Uh invested significantly in the latest aircraft, which are more fuel efficient and environmentally friendly. It means they are trying to match the customer's demand. It's a good step. It's a good step. They will move towards sustainable airline industry, airline company, and so this will actually capture the demand from the customer, especially when the customer is getting more and more, environmentally aware about the impact the company will have towards the environment. Right, so it's a good move. It's a good move to move towards customer demand. Okay, it's a competitive advantage as well, you can say, because they actually invested in the aircraft, which will make the environment greener. And remember that they own the aircraft, right? Then focus on leisure passenger. So they don't really serve a lot of business passenger. They focus on leisure one. So that's why they have economic seats, right? High density layout. Business passenger usually they will go for business class. That's why we have business class. Then they offer lower ticket price. So this is also one of the competitive advantage I take note on here. And then in terms of technology, early adopter, I also put it as competitive advantage. I also put it as competitive advantage, right? So what they have a mobile apps. Mobile apps, something like AirAsia, you see, integrate live data of airport information system, passenger booking and flight details. So passenger can actually access everything via the apps. AirAsia lah, memang AirAsia. A fully automated baggage check-in machines, and then you have electronic touch pads for the crew to replace the laptop and printed navigational charts for the pilots. And then all these reduce CO2 emissions per flight. Okay. Because you don't need to carry heavy printed flight logbooks. Again, this effort is in line with the current trend of the airline industry. Then they have big data servers to collect the data so that they can do further analysis. Okay, sounds very good. Sounds very good. They are they are one of the leaders in terms of like investing in technology to actually move forward. Right, people? What they have a lot of stuff, a lot of cabin crews, and then they give employees training. Did they mention here with regular updates are provided to employees, All right, then they have meet the board online chat. Oh, so it's a good thing, right? You can highlight this one. I forgot to highlight. Uh, it means they understand the employees, concern. They try to talk to the employees, have a session to talk to the employees, and then they have full induction program so the employees will understand very well about the company, and then receive regular and scheduled managerial appraisal. Right, good. So it looks like they value their people a lot also. Yeah. Board structure, board structure, right? Although we say we don't want to spot questions, but when they give you board structure, right? Most likely they are going to ask you something about governance. Most likely they are going to ask you something about governance. That's why they give you board structure, you see. 6 executive directors and 5 NDD. Is it a good structure? The chair is NDD is good. The chair is NDD is good, but only 5 NDDs, and you have 6 executive directors, not so good. Not so good. Okay, but anyway, you can take note. You can jot down there. Not really a good structure, but whether we will use the information or not, we are not so sure. There are 4 subcommittees. Okay, good. They have safety committee. Very good. Very good. Risk management and key risk. Okay, now again, we are not spotting the question, but when they give you risk management and key risk, most likely they're going to ask you about risk as well. And let me tell you, from my experience, from the 4-hour paper all the way until now, ACCA like to ask about risk. They like to ask a lot about risk. And when they ask about risk, right, it is a question which is quite distinguished compared to others. It means like that question is quite not related to others. And you will have an exhibit particularly for you to use to answer that question, which is good thing. It's a good thing. At least you won't be confused with other exhibits. Okay, so they have risk management and key risk. Good, good. It's very good. But they don't have risk committee. Do you see that? They don't have risk committee, but it doesn't matter. They have a risk manager like report to audit committee. Okay, fine. Risk manager report to audit committee. So risk manager report to 2 person, chief financial officer and also audit committee. Okay. Of course, you can say that they report to management is not so good arrangement, but they still report to audit committee. I think it's good. I think it's acceptable. Acceptable. Okay, what is the key risk? Safety and security of customer and staff. That's why they have safety committee, you see. Safety committee. We can say that safety committee is kind of like a little bit like risk committee also. The thing they do is rather the same. Then they have growing impact of climate change. It means weather. Increased expectation from customer, macroeconomic and geopolitical events, terror attack and so on, war and so on, right? Then website. Okay, website, availability, security, and performance of website. Okay, so the risk area is more like safety and security. Um, in terms of environment, in terms of the customers' demand on greener, environment, and then geopolitical events, terror attack, war, and so on. Then website in terms of technology, so the security of the technology, the availability of the technology, whether the technology will go like system down, right? That kind of things. Okay, fine. Okay, so we have a brief idea already, and somehow or rather expect some questions are to be asked to us. Although I'm not okay, I want to make a disclaimer. I'm not telling you that you can spot question. Please, I'm not telling you can spot question, but somehow or rather, we kind of like sometimes we will know what kind of question will be asked to you if they give you this information. Okay, right. Number 4, not really long. Number 4 and number 5, not really long. We'll take another 7 minutes, maybe. No, I think 5 minutes should be good enough. We'll take another 5 minutes to go through number 4 and number 5. Then we'll wrap up the things and then we'll go for lunch, right? Okay, so another 5 minutes, or maybe we can go for 7 minutes. So after that, we'll wrap up and then we'll just go for lunch. Then we'll come back and see what is asked in the question. This information is I would say is also very relevant. When you want to answer the questions, I'm not saying that industry information is not relevant. I'm not saying that this but usually the company information is the one that you need to put more emphasis because company information is the one that you can show your examiner how much you understand about the company and how much you consider whether your suggestion is related to the company situation or not. So this is a good source, like what I say, this is a good source of information to check whether any events in your, I mean, in the exhibits that you can see during the exam violate the core value of the company. So if you are given something like mission statement, what they want to achieve, all these kind of things, usually you will need to take note, right? Then you will see whether they violate all these, principles that they have. So some important information I actually jot down is low fat, right? They want to consistently deliver low fat. So they always need to consistently control their costs, right? So they also want to maintain their leading position. All right. So they also need to always make sure that um the market share is large enough, so called, and they have to do something to maintain the market share. So what they currently do, as far as we have as far as we have read, what they currently do is they try to fulfill the customer demand in terms of like to have a greener kind of environment. So to boost on the sustainability part also called. Right, mission statement to connect the people of Hindria. Just like everyone can fly, through affordable and sustainable air travel. I highlight a few keywords whereby they want to connect. So that is the reason they have a lot of roads. If you notice, they have a lot of different roads and they connect with 130 airports. All right, so to make sure people in Hyundai are able to access to the places they want easily, right? So through affordable and sustainable air travel. So they are also very committed. You can see, they are also very committed in terms of like to be sustainable, right? To be sustainable. So they try their best to maintain their affordability, to maintain the low cost. At the same time, they try their best to be green. Green, Okay. Our value. 5 important value. Sustainable behavior, manage emission, investing in efficient aircraft, minimizing the waste, right? Putting people first, they take care of their employees, engage with employees, offer fair rewards, provide development opportunity. Okay, good. Sounds very good. They also have this. Wait, no, it's not mentioned here yet. Okay. Drive innovation. Yeah, they want to invest in the latest technology and they want to have innovation to improve the customer experience and affordability. They also want to take care of their customer, build customer trust, customer satisfaction, data protection, and prevent bribery and corruption. Okay, why do I highlight this is because um this one is how to say this one is the one that it is more on ethical side. It's more on ethical. If they want to test you something related to ethics, right? This one is the one that they may possibly test you, right? Committed to safety. They also want to keep their traveling safe, want to keep the customer safe, want to keep the employees safe. So they have staff health and safety, customer security, emergency preparedness. Okay, these two are very good so-called effort, I would say, where if they really manage to do this, right, then they really can gain the customer trust. Huh? Okay, number 5 is the result. If you can see the result, revenue, okay, keep increasing, not bad. Profit before tax also not bad. ROCE, in year 2 OXO, they have quite a low ROCE. Okay, but after that, they already keep it up already. Okay, fine. Yeah. Then punctuality. Punctuality is very alarming. Do you see that? Punctuality is very alarming. Punctuality means what? You go back, you go back, have a look. What is the meaning of punctuality? Punctuality means you have to land within 15 minutes mark. of the scheduled arrival time. But now the punctuality is getting lesser and lesser. This is alarming. Now, when the punctuality is getting lesser and lesser, you will cause your customer to be not happy. Your customer satisfaction will greatly reduce. Let me tell you, will greatly reduce. Punctuality, when punctuality is not meeting, it means late lah. Most of the time, late. Just like nowadays, Air Asia make a lot of people angry is because they always delay the flight, right? Customer satisfaction, 20XO very low. Very low. Actually, not much different, but 20XO appear to be low. 20X2 is high, It's high. Probably because they did something, different or whatsoever. We are not so sure. We don't have information. But if this situation continue, if the punctuality situation continue, we will expect the following year customer satisfaction will definitely be affected. So this is alarming. Punctuality is very alarming. You have cost breakdown. You see the two vulnerable costs, fuel cost and airport ground handling fee is a very major portion of Corjetz cost. Very major portion. Do you see that? Right. So they have to do something on this. Or maybe airport ground handling fee, they cannot do something on this, but they have to always monitor and try to find some alternative in cost saving, so-called. Right? The cost breakdown include crew cost, include salary and training costs. Okay, fine. Others means IT. Where is the others? Others here means IT and head office administrative function costs, such as finance, customer service, HR management. Not so significant actually. Not too significant. Where is the crew cost? Crew cost is here, okay. Crew cost is quite big, but the biggest is still the two vulnerable one. So a very high risk, I would say. The risk is very high where they will have issue with the cost. It looks like this. It looks like this. Okay. Finally, we're done digesting the pristine material. So what do you feel? What do you feel? If they give you pristine material, okay, that is. Wait. What do you feel? If they give you pristine material, you will need to take some time to actually read through, right? So you cannot read through the day before your exam. Cannot. You definitely need to start reading 2 weeks before the exam when they first release the pristine material to you. Okay? Right.